Hi, my name is Brianna Condon, and this is my database for Waukesha Animal Hospital. Their mission statement is we are dedicated to healthy pets and happy families. As a family-owned clinic, we strive to create an environment that is warm and friendly. We are proud to have a fear-free certified professionals on our team who are committed to your pet's emotional as well as physical well-being. I included the location, the phone number, the email, their hours. On their website, they boast about being a cat-friendly practice, a fear-free practice, as well as an AHA accredited practice. The cat-friendly practice and fear-free practice is something that many people look for in a clinic, especially with cat owners. And an AHA accredited clinic just means that there is um, a strict protocols that they have to follow, and they're held up to a different standard than regular clinics. Just helps regulate them. Their services are a wellness and prevention care, dentistry, surgery, diagnostic imaging, euthanasia, and aftercare. They do offer a cold laser therapy as well. My first table is the doctor table. So each doctor is assigned to a patient. The doctor accounts on the table do contain their communication information, so such as an office phone number as well as their email. I also included their license number. This is important to make sure that that's included in their information as well. Each doctor does have a special doctor ID number that correlates only with that doctor. Some other things that it includes their first and last name, of course, and then it includes their picture for their form later on. The second table I have is the client table. So these are all the clients, otherwise known as the owners of the people in the clinic. Each account would hold their personal information, so such as, of course, their first and last name, their addresses, contact information such as phone numbers and emails. It also includes how much they paid on the account as well as how much they are due for. Each client does have a special client ID number that correlates only with that client, so that's the only thing that the only number that they have. The third table is the patient table. So the patients are the pets. Their account contains information about the pet, such as their name, their species, their breed, if they're up to date on their vaccines. Each patient does correlate with a specific doctor that they see, as well as the client, that's of course their owner. And each patient gets their own ID number as well. The relationships are that each doctor can have many patients, so that correlates by their doctor ID. And each client can have many patients as well, and that correlates via the client ID. And each patient can only have one doctor assigned to them and one client, so that means that one pet sees one doctor, and then that same pet only also, of course, has one owner. The queries, my cross-tab query is a client species per doctor query. This just shows how many patients each doctor has, and it also just kind of divides it into which species, which is canine and feline, options for them, just to kind of see what their patient load is. It'll help just diverge new clients coming in to those doctors with less patients, so one doctor doesn't have 50 patients while the other doctor has two. It kind of just helps divvy up new clients that are coming in. The second query is patients needing vaccines. So this just pretty much just shows who is not up to date on their vaccines. So everybody that's not doesn't have a check mark and needs vaccines. This is a great query to pull for owners because it has their information real quick right there to just have them schedule an appointment for their pet to come in and get updated. The contact information is just put on there to make it easier so that, like, okay, Fluffy needs to be called, here's the owner's number, and then the doctor who usually sees them, just to make appointment scheduling a lot easier. The Third query is searching by the city. So the user inputs the city that they're looking for just to see if they have any clients. So for example, I put in Pewaukee and it showed up with Kendra and Frank. This is great if there's like an outbreak in a specific city, like a parvo outbreak, Giardia outbreak, rabies outbreak, stuff like that, so that we can contact these clients and be like, hey, there's an outbreak in your city, and that way we can easily have their information, such as their phone number and email, to send out those things. My first form is a doctor master form. This just presents all the doctor information. It presents their first and last name, their contact information, license number. They have a picture of them, and then it also displays every single patient under that doctor, just to make it a little easier, just to be like, hey, these are my patients that I see. And that way they can just ease of information. The client master form is the second form. This just displays all the client information. It also displays what patients are underneath that client. So, for example, Mary does have Fluffy and Margie, versus having to try to sort through the patient table to figure out which numbers match up with Mary's number. And then that way it can just show all the pets she currently has. The third is the patient form. So the patient just includes all the information of the patient. It helps input the data really easy. I just put two different examples because one was updated on vaccines, one was not, so that check mark is gone. There's also buttons for ease of going through the form, so that going to the next record, the previous record, adding a record, deleting that record, and just closing the form. First report is a client financial report. This shows how much each client has paid, how much they're due, quick communication information as well, grand total for, say this was just for the month of May, then that would be easy enough to be like, oh, the clinic made this much money, the clinic is out this much money, because we are still trying to collect that, those totals from them. And then that way you can just kind of quickly see which ones are due and which ones aren't. The third report is a doctor license number. This just pretty much just has the doctor ID number, their first and last name, and their license number. This is great just to print out to have by like a phone or a front desk. Sometimes the pharmacy does need their license number, or different institutions do need that license number. So it's just really easy to see kind of what their number is without having to dig through all their information. Third report is the client labels. This just prints mailing labels. A lot of reminders go out via mail, or different things like rabies certificates, or information that's needed, because some people do use kind of like the snail mail going on. So it just prints their names, their first and last names, of course, and then their address, and that way we can just quickly print it and then send off what we need to do in the mail. This is the main menu, so it shows the different forms we just went through, the queries, the reports, and the quit options, of course, is just to close the menu or quit access altogether. Some pros and cons of the database. Pros are if a client moves clinics, all their pets would be removed from the database because there's that cascading update and delete option onto there. So you don't have to go through the patient one and figure out which patients are for that client number. So it's real easy just to remove all the pets from the system if need be. It's easy to import data using the different master forms as well as the patient form, just because all the information is right there that you need. You can quick fill everything out. Some cons are that the patient IDs, unfortunately, are very similar to the client ID. So pretty much just takes the client ID and adds a letter to it for each patient that the client acquires. So some patients are deceased, so that's why the active patients that you would see there would start at a very late letter. It would be really easy to mistype the number or just to forget the letter altogether, and then it would just be repeating the client information. And just keep track of vaccines the patient is up to date on. So say they needed like a rabies vaccine and all the other stuff's up to date. It'll say that they're not up to date because they're missing one. Um, but we don't know what that one is specifically, so we would have to track down through the medical record which vaccine is specific. You could add a whole nother table, more queries, more information on each table to keep track of all that. But then the tables become more complex and longer and everything, so that would just take a lot more time. These are just the resources, of course, Waukesha Animals Hospital website, and then just some standard stock images for the information on file. But leave a comment if you have any questions or anything like that. Other than that, I hope you guys all have a good day. Thanks.